Welcome back to Shemsuniverse. So today, guys, we're going to discuss the relationship between Virgo and Aquarius. So these two are not the most compatible signs out there. Unfortunately, it's between Earth and Air. They're usually in opposition, and it's because they both are quite logical and intellectual signs, which make for not the best sort of chemistry when it comes to intimate relationships. When we delve into specifically intimacy, I would say they're about 60% of the time going to work. Reason being is Aquarius thinks outside the box. They're very much about innovating new ideas. They're gifted in the way in which that they speak and the way in which they just conduct their business in general. So when they get in contact with somebody who's a Virgo, these guys kind of clash heads. Virgo's sort of critical lens looks at the Aquarius and doesn't think of them as that logical. And the Aquarius will look at the Virgo as somebody who's quite slow and that can't keep up with their thought process. So this then leads to them not really seeing eye to eye. And even if they do somehow have a sexual or intimate relationship, it'd be a very big surprise to any astrologist out there. Just simply because these two are probably one of the most least compatible signs out there when it comes to them getting along for a long period of time. For trust, they don't even really trust each other. Unfortunately, because Aquarius is a fixed sign. Aquarius is very into being fixated on things, their ideas. They're used to being the black sheep. They're used to not being agreed with. But when they meet somebody who's a Virgo, who's an Earth sign, they're going to initially think that they're a very grounded person, and then soon find out that they're a mutable Earth. So they're not going to be that it's like steadfast like a Leo or a Taurus would be. They're more so going to be kind of changeable in nature, just the same way Mercury is. They're going to move around a lot, have different thoughts, and think different things. And because of that, they tend not to really see eye to eye in that way. Aquarius will lose respect for the Virgo person after a while because they cannot stick with their own opinion, not realizing that they're just elaborating on their opinion and they're more so just getting more, I would say, knowledge on whatever the topic may be. And then that leads to their opinion changing. That's the whole key behind mutable signs, is that sometimes their opinion changes just simply because they learn more. So with intimacy, like I said, it's pretty low. It's about 60%. My recommendation for it to work is essentially you guys just need to sort of compromise. Like if the Virgo person can look at the Aquarius and say, well, you're somebody who thinks outside the box. I'm going to listen to your opinion and actually respect it, and then understand that everybody's going to have a different perspective, then you guys can get along. And also not hit them with that whole critical lens of, well, you're stupid or you're this or you're that if you don't think like me. And then with the Aquarius, they have to understand that the Earth sign in Virgo is going to be a little more grounded than them. So they might be sort of downplaying their dreams to them, or they might seem like that negative voice, but in truth, they're just trying to give them sound and logical advice. So with business now, business, I would say they're a little better off. I would give them at least 75%. The reason being is kind of with the cons in the first, they actually at least can both be very logical. So when you get two logical people together, of course, they can like pretty much make up any sort of business plan, have abstract ideas, innovate new things. This especially works if the Virgo is in a very administrative position, like usual with business, and then the Aquarius is the person that's innovating the idea, the person that's actually inventing a gadget or whatever it may be that they're going to implement to the world. If they do it in that way, then it works out. If they don't, it's like 50-50. It may not work. In regards to like the power dynamic, neither of them really have a problem. Like the Aquarius doesn't care about being in the front of the spotlight. The Virgo person never really cares about that at all. They're very grounded in that way. So when it comes to power dynamic, it's more so just a partnership in that respect. Neither of them are really going to look at each other like, oh, you're a competition to me to be at the top of the hierarchy that they're in. So that doesn't really affect them in that many ways. So my recommendation there ideally would just be to, like I said, make the Virgo person the person that's organizing what's happening, keeping you guys on task, making sure you guys are meeting certain deadlines. And the Aquarius is the person that's sort of supposed to think of those abstract ideas and think outside the box and make sure that you guys are not doing what's already been done. You guys can actually innovate something new through the Aquarius person. Most Aquarius people are gifted, so they're definitely people you should be taking advice from. Last but not least, we have the friendship between these two. This is lowest. I give them like 40%. Only reason being is they don't really see eye to eye, even when it comes to debates. So that was the whole difference with like Virgo and Capricorn, which I talked about yesterday. They were able to see each other for like who they are and understand like, okay, this person is like this, I think like that. but we can still get along just simply because we are who we are. The Aquarius and Virgo person, there's going to be some sort of I would say like a bit of an ego clash, a bit of a personal vendetta, just simply because you're going to have the Virgo person who's going to say, well, my idea should be the one that's right. Then the Aquarius person is going to say, well, I think this way. And they're not very social as is. So they're just going to have a bit of a clash in that sense where it's like almost two introverts that never really bring that bridge together to really get along in any sort of way. But aside from that, that should be it for these two. If you do meet somebody like this, like if you're a Virgo and you meet an Aquarius or vice versa, like I said, the whole of your chart matters. It's not just based on one sun sign. So if you guys have like ascendant signs that get along or moon signs, that matters a lot. It also matters what planets are in what house in your chart. All of those things are going to play like a major trajectory to see whether or not you guys are actually going to get along. So don't judge it just based on your sun sign. I'm just saying the energy between these two signs and how that's going to work. But aside from that, that should conclude the video, guys. If you have any questions whatsoever, just please leave in the comments for me. Aside from that, like, subscribe. Holly, that's it for today, guys. Peace.